Hello and welcome to my Fist Only No Vanquisher Seal Company of Champions boss run, and this is Smelter Demon. Guys, we got here. So yes, Smelter Demon was a pain in the ass, as he kinda always is. I mean, I already know how to fight him, so I'm not gonna exaggerate this, but he's kinda tougher because first, and yeah, I'm going to talk about Fist. So first, I have to kind of, you see me dual fisting the fists. So I kind of have to, every time I do a boss, I have to get used to the movement and the recuperation speed and the stamina replenishment, or basically stamina management. So this is not weird because with every weapon that you get in the game, you have to like learn the new moveset and accompany it with the moveset of the boss and with your stamina usage. So, but Smelter has wide arc attacks and some weird hitboxes that you have to dodge at the very last minute, like this, where he puts his sword down. You have to dodge at the exact moment that he puts his sword down, or you get damaged. So, but it was a tough fight. I died a couple of times, not too much, but I died a couple of times, and the run back is kinda shitty too. Like, I will talk about this in later videos, but let's just move on to the second biggest shortcoming of Dark Souls 2 in my kind of review of the game. And guess what? We're gonna talk about soul memory. Yeah, and I'm not gonna say soul memory is shit or soul memory shouldn't exist, because I totally was for soul memory. Like, when I heard they were releasing the system, when they announced it, I thought it was a smart move. I thought it was a system that was needed, because in Demon Souls and Dark Souls you have a system that is basically your soul level. Like, you go up as you gain souls, you kill enemies to gain souls, and the souls are like your currency. You use them to buy stuff and to level up. So basically the matchmaking multiplayer aspect of the game was your soul. So for example, I was the community set the meta level of the PvP, so you could be like 120 to 135 basically, so anyone can encounter each other and invade each other, and it was fine. But and the soul level could be below 12 levels, so you could basically, what people took advantage of this, like they made at a level 12 character, that's an example, right? But they made a level 12 character, they went through the game to max out their armor and weapons, and they invaded like level 1s, level 2s, level 5s. So you see the problem there. So when they announced soul memory, I mean, on concept, soul memory sounds great. Like, and I will explain what it is. So soul memory is or it's supposed to be a system where all your used souls go in a bank, and the number of souls that I have below there, those are the souls that I currently have and not used. Those are not the soul memory. The soul memory is displayed in my inventory. Maybe if you see my inventory in some of the levels, you're going to see a number. That's basically the soul memory bank. When you use a soul in any way, it goes into your soul memory. So when you end your first playthrough, you can end it below 2 million if you know what you're doing, or maybe hit the 2 million mark. So the matchmaking system basically is your soul memory, which is 2 million souls, will match you up with people with the same soul memory number and upwards. And this is the problem exactly. The upwards level is not implemented right. And I'm going to say this in a way that people who doesn't know this Soul games can understand. You can invade if you have a level 120 now in Dark Souls 2. You can invade someone. I think that the top level that you can invade is 836, 836 soul level. Just think about that. You have like 2 million souls, and you invade someone who has like 12 million souls and are top level, and they basically using heavy armor, fast rolling anyways, and using you hit him and you do no damage, and you basically have no chance of winning, like zero chance of winning. And this is a problem that was not in Dark Souls 1, and I will explain why. Because the armors were balanced. The armors were balanced. They were never an issue in Demon Souls either, that had the same soul level thing and not the soul memory. You could invade a level. I think in Dark Souls 1 was 714 or something like that, the top level, and you can invade at 714. And yes, it was harder, of course, that level, but it was so hard to get to 714. It was so difficult to gain souls. Like in here, you gain souls so easy that the level 150, 135, 120 doesn't work anymore. I mean, the soft cap of soul level in Dark Souls 2 should be 250 at the very least. But that gives you, the soul memory system gives you, and the amount of souls the game gives you can keep you leveling up through new game pluses. So you basically end up with a character that has no unique traits, that can use all the weapons that he wants, all the armors that he wants, and can use sorceries, magics, and hexes. And you, in Dark Souls and Demon Souls, you kinda, if you want to do a strength-based character, a dex character, a magic kind of character, you have to commit an entire playthrough to do so, and this wasn't a problem. I mean, you just did it because it was fun. You did several characters, but in here you have the soul vessels that you can grab a character and change all his stats on an APC and basically turn a strength character into another character. But it's wasted. The soul vessel is a good idea, don't get me wrong. The soul vessel is an awesome idea, but it's wasted because of the soul memory. And let's get more into the soul memory, because later on they released a patch trying to improve the soul memory system, and they kind of balanced the armors, right? The heavy armors they nerfed, so they are not so defensive anymore. But they installed a patch that basically adds tiers, like rank tiers. So I don't remember exactly what the tiers are, but you can no longer have 2 million souls in the memory stored bank and invade at 12 million. Like, there are tiers. You can invade up to 5, up to 6, and if you have 6 you can invade up to 8, and you have 8 you can invade up to 12, and I think after 12 you can invade up to 20, and the game basically turns into a game where you encounter people that can use everything that's available in the game. They can use it because they are top level. So the soul memory has two major flaws. One, if you go up in your soul memory too much, and you cannot prevent this, you will go up as you keep playing, your character becomes unusable to find fresh people that are not using everything. And the second problem is that the games became boring because of soul memory. Because what's people going to do in an RPG? They're going to min-max. They're going to do Havel's armor, like I mentioned before, which is the the most defensive armor, which was nerfed. But I really don't know how much the nerf. I don't think the nerf is really that great. But they're going to min-max. And the ones that are not going to min-max, like me, because I'm like a fashion souls gamer, like I kinda going to combine the armor that I like with weapons that I like, and I'm going to stick to them. Not because they are impressive. I mean, have the best attack ratings or the best defense ratings, just because they look cool, and I'm going to do PvP with them. So the people that are trying to enjoy the game and make unique characters, they just can't anymore, because at some point your character will reach an amount of soul memory that will become useless. And you will have to do another character, but not because you want to specialize in something else, but because you need to, because your character is now only invading level 800s, or I mean 300s and upwards, or 400s and upwards, or 500s and upwards. So you basically, with the patch that added tiers, they kinda did as Dark Souls 1 thing, but where you no, it's worse actually. It's worst, because now you get more separated from the other levels. So it's more difficult to find people. And that's something that has happened to me, because in this walkthrough I was invaded only once, and most of the fights, like almost all of the fights in this particular walkthrough, were done in online. So in 10 hours of gameplay that took to me to finish this game, 10 hours, I only got invaded once. So as you can see, people are already leaving the PvP, and if you think about it, Dark Souls 1, the 2 years of existence, 2 years and a half of existence of Dark Souls 1, they kept a very active, healthy people in the game, invading, hosting fight clubs. Doing fight clubs were great. I did a lot of fight clubs, and that's not gonna exist in this game. Now with the last DLC released, this game is going to disappear into oblivion, and of course Bloodborne is coming out, so everyone will be going to play Bloodborne, and it's kind of shit that the game is only PS4, at least for now. It's shit, because really next gen should never be should always be multi games. Like, I'm pissed at Bayonetta 2 because I can't play it because I don't own a Wii, and I really like Bayonetta 1, and I'm not gonna buy a Wii U to play Bayonetta 2. So why isn't that game coming out for the rest of the consoles and PC? Like, what the fuck? Wii U is gonna sell like shit, or at least it's not gonna sell like it should sell. But whatever, I just rambling about and just going in and out of other topics. So memory is ruined. And another aspect of the game that's going to leave me like sort of an asshole, but try to understand me first, not only hear the harsh words, like whiny people that complain all the time about the shortcomings, not the shortcomings, the OP things in Dark Souls 2. They ruined the game. They ruined Dark Souls 2. And it's not really just people that were responsible, of course, is FromSoft, that listens too much to the complaints. But in Demon's Souls you had OP weapons and OP armor and OP magic, and they never got nerfed. So you just learn to survive. You learn to win against someone that was using an OP weapon, and it felt good. It felt great. And in Dark Souls 1, they even had a ring that made you invisible. Like when it was released, they had a ring that made you invisible, totally invisible. And on top of that, the host could not lock you, could not use the lockup system. So you are basically a ghost. So you can walk to the back of someone and backstab him into oblivion, just like that. So that shit got nerfed immediately, like immediately. And some nerfs that improves the PvP in general are a good thing. Like when the 1.04 patch released with Artorias of the Abyss, the DLC, they nerfed the Darkwood Grain Ring that basically allowed people with heavy armors to do the flip roll, like the ninja roll, and that made no fucking sense. Really, that made no fucking sense. So after the patch, the PvP improved a lot. So some nerfs that make sense improved the game, but the Moonlight Greatsword in Dark Souls 1 was always OP and kept being OP. Like the Scythe, the best dex weapon, was OP and still is OP. The Wrath of the Gods in Dark Souls 1 was much worse than Wrath of the Gods in Dark Souls 2. And I think it got nerfed, but it's just always OP. So Dark Souls 2, in being so famous and becoming so more mainstream than the other two games, it got so many people complaining that they nerf everything into oblivion. They nerf everything, and now the game started to feel like there is nothing unique to it. Like all the weapons made kind of the same damage, all the armors have the same kind of defensive values, and it's not as bad as I'm putting it, but it's kind of going there. And think about this, if I can make a point before the video ends. The Soul series was never intended to be a Street Fighter or a Mortal Kombat game where everything needs to be balanced. It was never intended to be a medieval competitive PvP game. It was an invasion type of game. So nothing feels unique anymore. I don't know if I'm making the point clear, but we'll keep talking about this and other issues in the next video. Take care, guys.